Most
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking.
I don't want to bore you with a long speech.
The abattoirs were closing. The management went broke. So redundancies were handed out to each and every bloke. So we chucked this massive party at the old Top End Hotel. We were all there to get blind drunk, and bloody would as well. By 9 o'clock the shelves were scant. We drunk most everything. The beer was gone, the scotch, the stout. We'd even drunk the gin. And every bloke in town was there, all sozzled good and proper. The only bloke who wasn't there was the local bloody copper. He was down the road, the cagey sod, his breathalyzer set. The word spread quickly through the pub about this nasty threat. Hell, we could hardly walk, let alone drive, and we couldn't catch a cab because the local taxi drivers were now on their 16th slab. What a dastardly dilemma. What a fearsome fix of fate. Our missuses would kill us if we staggered home too late. Then Josie said, "Hey, see that bloke at the far end of the bar? I haven't seen him have a beer at all tonight so far." So instantly the surge was on to meet this real top bloke. He was suddenly everyone's old mate, and we bought him cans of Coke. The most popular bloke in the pub he became, no longer drinking alone. Then at closing time we slipped it in. Could you drive us buggers home? Sure, he said, no problem. Hell, we carried him out of the pub, wondering why for the whole of the night we'd given this stranger the snub. We cheered him into the car park, 28 drunks at a guess. Then we all squashed into his flash four-wheel drive, and it was pretty bloody compressed. There was faces squashed up against the window. We were centimetres apart. Zimmo's noses up Bluey's bum, and he prayed that he didn't fart. Like a can of sardines, we headed off. Home would be our next stop. We're all gonna give the one finger salute to that bloody mongrel cop.
I tell you, that sounds like lightning ridging the courtesy bus up there from the pub.
It's still there.
There you go.
But he charged on out of the car park like a wounded wild bush boar. With a shriek and a screech and a bloody great wheelie, he dropped his foot flat to the floor. In 10 seconds he reached 100 clicks and was swerving all over the road. Our ruddy drunk faces turned ghostly white and our stomachs began to unload. Bet you that sounds more like Lightning Ridge. Bloody slow down, I shouted. Don't you know how to drive? Nah, said the bloke, I ain't got a licence. Then he chucked it in the overdrive. Well, watch your bloody car, I roared. The way you're driving, you'll roll it. Doesn't matter, our driver said. It's not my car. I stole it. We're getting closer and closer to Lightning Ridge.
I love it.
No,
Fantastic.
Well, us poor old drunks. We're near on choked. Satan was driving the car. But you can't jump out at 110 or you'll splatter all over the tar. At least he's not drunk, whispered Josie. I suppose that's one small blessing. But of all the shocks we'd had so far, there was one far more distressing. And how come you don't drink grog? I asked. He replied, I have no need. I'm more content with LSD, heroin, pot and speed. Well, the screams from the back were awful as we all tried to fight for the door because the fear of hitting the asphalt road didn't seem so bad anymore. He was driving all over the bloody road, north and east and south, playing a Jimi Hendrix cassette with a joint hanging out of his mouth. And he started to sprout some deranged theory. He evolved from the albatross, while us poor old drunks squashed up in the back tried making the sign of the cross.
Normally Pace Filo Spiritus Sanctus,
And he started to fill his nostrils with a handful of fine white powder and screamed, "I am invincible! I cannot die, for I am Nicky Lauder!" "Oh no, you're bloody not," I roared, "and you will die by heck. As soon as I get an inch to move, I'm going to wring your bloody neck." And then in the distance, we saw the town cop. Help was here at last. But he yelled out, "I'm glad you drunks got a ride home." Then he waved his poor bastards on past. We were screaming and thumping the windows. Our hopes of salvation were gone as this unlicensed drug-crazed car thief went madly motoring on. Then he veered from the tar of the highways and headed through gullies and hills. And as Lover's Leap loomed in the distance, he ate 50 ecstasy pills. Well, we all found God within seconds. For we knew we were going to die as this drug-crazed fool flew towards Lover's Leap screaming, "Man, I think I can fly!" I realised then how it must have felt as a passenger on the Titanic when the doors of the car burst open under weight of sheer bloody panic. And as the last drunk spilt from the cabin, the car shot off Lover's Leap, and for a moment we thought the mongrel could fly, till he fell to a fiery heap. So thinking the worst was over, we staggered home at 3 a.m, where our wives were waiting in ambush to try killing us bastards again. And they wondered why we were laughing as they thrashed us and put in the boot. Well, they did not know of our death drive to hell with these drug-crazed maniac coot. So now when we drink at the local, it's not the town copper we fear, nor excessive consumption of whiskey, rum or beer. We fear not the threat of a punch-up, or spending the night in the clink, or the thing that we fear most greatly is a bastard who doesn't drink.
Fantastic. Love it.
Awesome. I've heard it so many times, I still piss myself laughing.
Well done, James. Well done, mate.